Hi, welcome back everyone. If you don't know me, my name's Newman and this is my life with plants. Today I'm going to show you 10 of my favorite cacti, so stay tuned. Hi, welcome back. It's been a while. The summer's been very hot. Just about every day has been over 35 degrees with high humidity, and it's been really hot. 3 months of that kind of weather. Anyway, the cacti have been doing well. I have 10, so first one I'm going to introduce today is Mammillaria mystax. I've been growing this one for I think about 13 years. At that time it was a very small plant and it's become this. So Mammillaria mystax is a very easy-going, easy to care for Mammillaria, native to central Mexico. A lot of states actually in Mexico. So you can see that this one is really plumped up well this year. It's been having a good year, good growth. I've even gotten seed off it, and it's produced babies, seedlings that have been growing for a few years now. I like this cacti because of its very round, spherical, compact growing nature, clump forming, easy to keep in a small terracotta pot, doesn't require a lot, just a acidic 5.5 water, even rainwater is good, and it's very hardy even in this tropical climate. It does very well as long as it's dry and out of the rain, but it will get days that are up to 90% tropical humidity. It doesn't bother it one bit. In actual fact, it can acclimatize to it. Water it, just a couple of weeks, every couple of weeks, and I don't really adjust my watering schedule, even if it gets drier and sunnier and hotter. During those monsoon weather, I will cut back on the water, of course. It's got a nice top dressing of crush quartz. It's growing in akadama, river sand, and a very small amount of organic material. Anyway, that's number one. And next up is... Okay, the next one I would like to introduce to you is Mammillaria herbella, and this one I've been growing just as long as Mammillaria mystax. It's put out some very good growth this year. It divides dichotomously, which means that instead of just getting another smaller cacti growing on the side, it will split its meristem to make two divisions. Let's get up nice and close with this. You can see here that actually 1, 2, 3, it's splitting 3 ways. This is its newest growth, 1, 2, and of course this. What can I say about it? It's just as hardy as mystax. Actually puts up with a lot of humidity during the summer. During the monsoonal season, I cut back on the water. I probably won't give it any, but during hot sunny weather I will water it once every couple of weeks. So it's mainly kept on the dry side. Grown in a terracotta pot with a top dressing of quartz. It's got a very mineral mix, so it's akadama, river sand, small amount of organic material. and that's about it. And sometimes I add gypsum. This plant has been with me for 13 or 14 years. It's grown really well this year because I made an adjustment. I started to use ammonium sulfate in the water when I water it, and that has done the trick. It's made it grow much healthier, much stronger. A lot of people will say that you shouldn't do that because you might promote too much tissue growth and it'll be weak. But in this case it promotes the roots to come back to life, because being a very undernourished soil, because cacti grow in an undernourished soil that's has a lot of gypsum or lime in it, and what you're doing is you're just boosting the root system, which makes it able to absorb those minerals that it's trying to get, because natural rainwater is very acidic and we're just trying to follow the rules of nature. And you can see here that it's paid off. It's a beautiful plant. I recommend it for other growers like yourself. Anyway, let's get on with number 3. Okay, I suppose you were looking at this t-shirt. This is a gift for my 48th birthday from my wife. So after all these years, she recognizes me as a cactus buff, cactus grower, and I'm real happy about getting this t-shirt. It's the first t-shirt I've ever had with cacti on it, so I thought I would wear it today. This is my next one. Very common, very easy to grow. You could call it a weed in some collections. This is Mammillaria prolifera. It's native to parts of the Bahamas, Caribbean, and Mexico. You're going to have a nice close look at this one. Okay, Parabatla grows really well here in, prolifera grows really well here in Japan. I did an experiment and I put this one in extra gypsum. I put gypsum in there. No, lime, sorry, not gypsum, lime. That's what I put in the other cacti. I said gypsum, I mean lime. So this has been limed. The results have been really good. The plants are super healthy, super healthy. They have offsets, they're just really doing well. So this is one of my favorite smaller cacti. I like its big red fruits that it has. Beautiful flowers, like a typical Mammillaria. I haven't been growing this one for too long, even though it's common in my neighborhood. A lot of people grow it. I've had it for about a couple of years. Yeah. Okay, so let's get on with number 4. Okay, number 4. Gotta get 2 hands for this one. It's big. There we go. We all know what this one is, don't we? Gymnocalycium saglionis. This one I bought 2 or 3 years ago as a small plant. I've kept repotting it. Every time I repot it, it grows. Very forgiving cactus. Let me tell you something. You can overwater this. It won't harm it one bit. Overwatering doesn't seem to harm it. Underwatering could be a problem. Never tried it. This pot in particular retains quite a bit of water when I do water it, and it puts out a lot of growth. It's a fast growing cactus. It's very cold hardy. I've kept these specimens outside 17 Fahrenheit, so it's minus 8 degrees. That's not constantly, by the way. That would be a temperature that drops down to -8 at night, but the daytime temperatures can climb back up to about 10 degrees, and it's quite sunny and dry here in the winter. humidity is around 30%. And I'm going to get up close with this one so I can talk a little bit more. I recommend having saglionis in your collection for its beautiful pink flowers. I wish it flowered while it was just starting off these new growth here, this new growth you can see, because sometimes it can get so matted with thick spines, it makes it hard for the flowers to fully open. This cactus is also growing in a low organic medium with akadama river sand, and I got a top dressing of that kind of crushed blue glass. It's growing in this pot here. It's kind of similar to terracotta, kind of like the design on it. It kind of looks like molten lava. This cactus will keep getting bigger and bigger. It can get up to about over 30 centimeters in diameter. And it has a typical very hard epidermis, so it doesn't succumb to spider mites so much. Spider mites don't want to really have anything to do with it because its epidermis is so thick. But it can have problems with mealybug, root mealybug, maybe scale too, but I keep nets up which keep a lot of the bugs away. So this is one of my favorite cacti. And next up is, sorry about the bumpy camera work, but I don't really edit anything too much. I'm just trying to bring you content, which is more important. This one, the common, the well-known Hamatocactus leninghausii. Everybody has this in their collection, but for me, this is one of my favorite because of its gold color, golden spines, clustering habitat, easy to care. Actually, I'm living in the tropics here, so something interesting is it puts out a lot of growth during the hot tropical season that we have. So we're talking about 70 to 80% humidity. This year we've had a lot of sunny days, almost, you know, if I count sunny days in 1 week, it would be, 7 days in a week. You were talking about 6 to 7 just about every day for 2 months with high humidity, and this thing loves it. Starts to kick out a lot of growth. Temperatures 35, 36 on average. It can bounce up to 30 degrees and it's not even 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. So there's high temperatures, high humidity. But as regarding water, it's still like any other cactus. Let it dry out before you water it again. Don't keep it soaking wet. They can rot the root system. But in those temperatures and in that climate, it puts out a lot of growth. It loves it. It loves the high temperatures, high humidity. Going into winter, it'll get drier here, colder, and it's been putting up with it no problem. Even the temperatures that are drop below zero. I keep it high up on my shelf there, so it's just out of the reach of frost, but still gets all the cold. And it's been surviving really well. And it made flowers for me, and I took the fruits and they were fertile. So I got little babies growing. Okay, so that is one of my favorites. And up next, this time I'm just going to keep it rolling, because let me tell you, you're not going to see much if I pick up the camera, because it's such a big plant. It's done a big flop to the one side. Interesting is that this particular cactus will do this after there's a big change in the temperature. So our temperatures have dropped down. Well, today is a high of 27 opposed to 35, 36, so that's about a 10 degrees drop. And during that time, this cactus will bend, and it'll bend towards the direction of the sun. So I was on the shelf and it's pointing to the south. It's trying to get even more sun. So it loves sun, loves. But I don't think it knows how much sun it loves, because I think you can burn this. But it has a very, very thick, dense spine formation over the body, which protects it from sun. Interesting enough, it's got two babies growing right here, two offsets. And this is, by the way, Ferocactus Mammillaria, and I've had this for 12 or 13 years now. It's been growing in this climate fine. I keep it on the dry side. Also, I don't overpot it, so you can see that it's in quite a small pot. And when I do water it, I water it thoroughly, and it's every 2 to 3 weeks. And it's been happy like that. When I put it back on the shelf, I'm going to have to turn it around because it could nosedive right off the shelf. Okay, so that's number 5, right? Next up is another big one. There it is. We all know what this is. This is Hamatocactus, or some people call it a Ferocactus. And it has lots and lots of buds on the top there, see? Just starting to open. 5 buds. This is not a prolific flower like setispinus, although when it does flower, they're beautiful. Beautiful bright yellow flowers of the red throat. And this cactus I've had for a long time, like these other ones, 13 years. You can see that there's some whitening on the epidermis, and that is just some cold stress or heat, because I put a cover around my greenhouse. It can get really, really hot in there during the day and very low temperatures during the night. So this is one of my favorites, but it's not one of my favorites if it gets hooked around your clothes, because it's got these vicious long hooked spines, and I won't be able to show you on the camera, but it has a very tiny little offset starting, which means that it's trying to branch. This is growing in a very porous mix, so it's a mixture of equal parts pumice, akadama, river sand, crushed river rock, and a small amount of organic matter. Yeah. When I'm finished, I've got to put all of these away. But it's a good time to inspect your plants. Alright, next up we have a Ferocactus. I'm going to put the name on the screen because I haven't put it on my tag here. It's only in Japanese. But you'll recognize it because of the dark green body with the golden spines. And this is one of my favorites. And I picked this one up from a specialty nursery in Ikebukuro here in Japan. I'm going to get up nice and close to this one, so I will turn off, change the position of the camera. This particular Ferocactus is popular all over the world because of these golden spines and a nice dark green body. Now this Ferocactus, as I know, is a smaller variety, so it won't get that big. It won't outgrow your collection. Could be a 30 centimeter in diameter, slightly cylindrical, and easy to grow, cold hardy. Cold doesn't bother it one bit as long as it's dry and not wet. You can see that it's getting those nice golden spines on the top there too. Yeah. This one gets water just like the others every 2 to 3 weeks. So it's kept on the dry side and it loves it. Grows really well for me. Okay, so let's get on with the next one. Okay, next up is Mammillaria vetula subspecies gracilis that I bought on my go-to line that I have here in Japan, where I buy plants from people. It's been growing really well, has beautiful purple flowers. We're going to get up nice and close to it, so it won't be a minute. This is a nice small growing Mammillaria, dark green body, dark central spines, light straw colored or white radial spines. So it's quite a colorful Mammillaria even when it isn't flowering. It offsets quite well to form a nice clump. You can use these offsets like I do and put them in with much larger cacti to make a nice display, which I like doing over here. You can see here, right? You can see a Mammillaria there that I've used to pot up around the edge of my Ferocactus. Yeah, there's nice purple flowers too. Yeah, it's worth growing one of these, and it's one of my favorite cacti. Last, number 10, Espostoa and lanata. This one has grown a couple of inches since I've bought it. It's growing in a plastic pot. Ideally I want it in terracotta because it's cooler, but it's growing happily. I water it the same as the others. Very cold hardy. I don't need to worry about winter one bit. I like Espostoa lanata a lot, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. We're going to get up close to it so I can talk a little bit more. I like Espostoa lanata for its nice, tidy, neat columns that it grows, and eventually it'll offset at the bottom to form a nice colony. And it has the nice wool on the top here. Yeah, this is one of my favorite of the hairy cacti. And of course I like Cactus straussii, but I have one actually. I've had this in my collection for about 3 years. It's growing really well for me, and it's an interesting plant. Anyway, that's it for this episode, and I hope you enjoyed looking at my 10 favorite cacti. But just like any other grower, your favorites can change, and it's hard for me to even decide which are my favorite, but I'm pretty sure that the ones I showed you are up there in the 10 of my favorites. And stay tuned for more coming up. I'm going to do a video update on my outdoor orchids to let you know how they're doing in this heat, and which one's doing good and which aren't. And until next time, enjoy your plants, and remember, growing your plants isn't a chore. It's part of your self-care. So when you invest some time in your plants and look after them, you feel much better. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.